Marston and I'm the community champion at Horsforth Morrisons. I've chosen to read Supertato by Hendra and Paul Linnet, and I've chosen this book because I like to think that this is what goes on in the supermarket when we lock the doors at night. So let's begin. It was night time in the supermarket and everyone was sleeping peacefully. Or were they? Someone was looking for trouble. Soon this supermarket will be mine, all mine. And with one click, all the freezers were switched off. You may already know this, but some vegetables are frozen for a very good reason. Because if they defrost, they turn bad. Really bad. The baddest of them all is the evil pea. Wakey, wakey, he called. One evil pea is bad enough, but now there were bags of them. The supermarket was in meltdown. Run for it, panicked Pepper. Save me, stuttered Pear. Save me, begged Melon. Save me, cried Carrot. I'm melting, pleaded Lolly, and time's running out. Was there anyone who could save them? Supertato to the rescue! But before Supertato could save anyone, he was attacked by a swarm of peas. What's going on? Asked Aubergine. We're doomed! That's what, cried Cucumber. Things were going from bad to worse. Supertato was thrown onto the conveyor belt and he was heading straight for the bagging area. Was this the end for Supertato? I'm going to need some backup if I can just call the... Click! Super Veggies to the rescue! They use ninja know-how. Hi-ya! They use massive muscles. They use fancy footwork. And they use a box with a door cut in it. But what about the lollies? And where was Supertato? Sorry I'm late. I just needed to pick up some dessert. And now those freezers are on. Click! And I'll be needing a glass and a piece of paper. Who ordered the vegetables? Screeched the evil pea. You think you've beaten me, but I'm going to... Ha! You're going to do what? Asked Supertato. 3 cheers for Supertato, shouted Broccoli. Supertato blushed. I couldn't have done it without the super veggies. Actually, I'm not a vegetable, I'm a fruit, said Tomato. And everybody laughed and cheered. So with the peas back in their bags and the freezers locked, the supermarket was once again a safe place to be. Isn't it wonderful, said one lolly to the other. We're all back to normal again. The end. Stay safe, everyone.
Hello, I'm Rob. I'm from the Horsforth Neighbourhood Policing Team. For World Book Day, I'd like to read you a chapter from a favourite book of mine. Well, it certainly was as a child. It's part of the Thomas the Tank Engine series by the Reverend W. Audry, and this is Toby the Tram Engine. But have no fear, Thomas will be the villain, so to speak, of this story. It's called Thomas in Trouble. There is a line to a quarry at the end of Thomas's branch. It goes for some distance along the road. Thomas was always very careful here in case anyone was coming. Peep, 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 he whistled, and then people got out the way, and he puffed slowly along with his trucks rumbling behind him. Early one morning, there was nobody on the road, but a large policeman was sitting on the grass close to the line. He was shaking a stone from his boot. Thomas liked policemen. He had been a great friend of the constable who lived in the village, but he'd just retired. Thomas expected that the new constable would be friendly too. Peep, peep, he whistled. Good morning. The policeman jumped and dropped his boot. He scrambled up and hopped round on one leg till he was facing Thomas. Thomas was sorry to see that he did not look friendly at all. He was red in the face and very cross. The policeman wobbled about, trying to keep his balance. "Disgraceful," he spluttered. "I didn't sleep a wink last night. It was so quiet, and now engines come whistling suddenly behind me. My first day in the countryside too." He picked up his boot and hopped over to Thomas. "I'm sorry, sir," said Thomas. "I only said good morning." The policeman grunted and leaned against Thomas's buffer. He put his boot on. He drew himself up and pointed to Thomas. "Where's your cowcatcher?" he asked accusingly. "But I don't catch cows," said Thomas. "Don't be funny," snapped the policeman. He looked at Thomas's wheels. "No side plates either." He wrote this in his notebook. "Engines going on public roads must have their wheels covered and a cowcatcher in front. You haven't, so you are dangerous to the public." "Rubbish," said his driver. "We've been along here hundreds of times and never had an accident." "That makes it worse," said the policeman. He wrote "regular lawbreaker" in his book. Thomas puffed away sadly. The Fat Controller was having breakfast. He was eating toast and marmalade. He had the newspaper open in front of him, and his wife had just given him some more coffee. The butler knocked and came in. "Excuse me, sir, you're wanted on the telephone." "Bother that telephone," said the Fat Controller. "I'm sorry, my dear," he said a few minutes later. "Thomas is in trouble with the police, and I must go at once." He gulped down his coffee and hurried from the room. At the junction, Thomas's driver told the Fat Controller what had happened. "Dangerous to the public, indeed. We'll see about that." And he climbed grimly into Annie, the coach. The policeman was on the platform at the other end. The Fat Controller spoke to him at once, and a crowd collected to listen. Other policemen came to see what was happening, and the Fat Controller argued with them, but it was no good. "The law is the law," they said, "and we can't change it." The Fat Controller felt exhausted. He mopped his face. "I'm sorry, driver," he said. "It's no use arguing with policemen. We will have to make those cowcatcher things for Thomas, I suppose." "Everyone will laugh, sir," said Thomas. "They'll think I look like a tram." The Fat Controller stared. Then he laughed. "Well done, Thomas. Why didn't I think of it before?" "We want a tram engine. When I was on holiday, I met a nice little engine called Toby. He hasn't enough work to do and needs a change. I'll write to his controller at once." A few days later, Toby arrived. "That's a good engine," said the Fat Controller. "I see you've brought Henrietta." "You don't mind, do you, sir?" said Toby anxiously. "The station master wanted to use her as a hen house, and that would never do." "No, indeed," said the Fat Controller. "We couldn't allow that." Toby made the trucks behave even better than Thomas did. At first, Thomas was jealous, but he was so pleased when Toby rang his bell and made the policeman jump that they've been firm friends ever since.